Top 20 Most Ruthless Moments in NBA History. The NBA has been around for quite a long time. Throughout its history, we've seen a handful of ruthless moments come around. Today's video is going to be talking all about some of the most ruthless moments in league history. The first one we're going to cover is just cold. Michael Jordan was well known for his trash talking, but he took it to another level when he went up against Muggsy Bogues and the Charlotte Hornets. With the Hornets down by a bucket in Game 5 of the NBA playoffs, Bogues wanted to make something happen. That was when Jordan yelled, "Shoot it, you midget!" Not only did he miss the shot and see the Bulls advance further into the postseason, but the statement broke Muggsy's jump shot. He averaged just 5.9 points per game throughout the rest of his career. Next, we have the time that Larry Bird absolutely killed Dennis Rodman. Rodman wasn't that feared defensive standout at this point like he was later on in his career. In this game, they chose to set Rodman right onto Larry to try and negate some of his impact. Bird sank for straight baskets quickly and turned to the Detroit Pistons coach and said, "Who's guarding me? Is anyone guarding me? You better get someone on me or I'm gonna go for 60. The next play, Larry was called for the ball again and yelled, "Before they notice, nobody's guarding me." You can't get much more ruthless than that one. If you thought that one was bad, then you're gonna hate this line from Kevin Garnett right towards Carmelo Anthony. Garnett and Melo got into a small scuffle on the court, but then KG chose to make it awfully personal. He told Melo that his wife tasted like Honey Nut Cheerios. The two instantly got heated on a point where Anthony even tried to confront him at the Celtics team bus after the game. Then we move on to the game Michael Jordan pushed his teammate off the team after just a few lines. He called his teammate Rodney McRae a medical bill and then said, "You're a loser. You've always been a loser." After one season, he left the team and his stats just dipped off the face of the earth. Now, this one is honestly impressive. Kobe Bryant knew that his opponent, Tony Parker, knew French. So before a game in 1 week, Kobe went and learned how to speak a little bit of French. Just enough so that he could trash talk the living hell out of Parker throughout the entire game. Moving on to the time that Ja Morant embarrassed Avery Bradley with one of the most athletic showings that we've ever seen in the past decade. Bradley thought he was driving straight to the rim without anybody getting remotely close to him, but instead saw Morant catch the ball with two hands off the backboard. Then we come to the time that Julius Randle chose to be downright disrespectful to the Knicks faithful that came to the game. He made quite a good spin maneuver in the painted area to cap it off with a contested layup. Instead of basking in the cheers that were going to come with it, he started to give the fans a thumbs down and shake his head in disgust at them. Now that's just cold. This next play by Jordan Nwora was just flat out wrong. He gets the ball in the perimeter and hits his defender with one of the cleanest crossovers that I've seen in a while to get himself back behind the three-point arc. Not only does he drain the three-pointer, but he laughs at the crowd and mocks the way that the defender stumbled and fell. Moving on to the time Anthony Edwards made a statement, going up against the Miami Heat. Edwards threw it down hard on Gabe Vincent underneath the basket with one hand. Vincent fell down onto his back while Edwards stood over the top of him, staring him down over what he just did to him. Unfortunately, Jason Terry suffered a similar fate. He was surrounded by 3 Miami Heat players on the back end and saw the ball get stripped away from him. He hustled to play defense, but got caught on the wrong end of LeBron James' alley-oop. An alley-oop that was so hard that Terry was launched back down to the floor on his back. Then we come to the time Kevin Garnett didn't hold back on Joakim Noah. Noah came up to him during a game and said, "Man, KG, I had your poster on my wall. I looked up to you, man." Garnett chose to respond in the most ruthless way possible, simply saying, "F you, Noah." As you could probably imagine, Noah wasn't a fan of Garnett much anymore. Let's go back to Michael Jordan again. In a game against the Utah Jazz, Jordan jammed it home on the small point guard, John Stockton. The owner of the Jazz then yelled out to Jordan, "Pick on someone your own size." Then on the very next play of the game, Jordan slammed it down on the 7-foot center Mel Turpin. MJ turned back to their owner and said, "Is it big enough for you?" Now, Paul Pierce has been ripped up quite a lot over the years, but he got inside Kenneth Faried's head with some dirty trash talk. Faried had to make 2 game-winning free throws in this game, when Pierce said to him, $60 million, I don't see it with this guy. Faried wound up missing both of his shots and his team lost the game to Pierce's Celtics. Another ruthless moment came when Larry Johnson ripped into Scottie Pippen for having Jordan carry him. Johnson said, he needs to shut his mouth now. All he needs to do is give the ball to 23. That's his best play right there. Mike gives all them boys guts over there, if it wasn't for Mike. Moving on to the time that Charles Barkley and Charles Oakley went at it on Twitter. These two hated each other on the court. That carried over into their retirement. Oakley said, Charles Barkley, you better stop talking about Cleveland. You was never tough, you hide behind TNT. To which Barkley replied by saying, Charles Oakley doesn't like me, which is no big deal. I don't like him or dislike him. It's not important enough for me to think about. Ironically, this next ruthless moment involves J.R. Smith and the clock. With just 5 seconds left, Smith jogged his way down the court before detonating all over the San Antonio Spurs, who saw a man fall onto the ground because he got postered so badly. Who would have thought that Smith would know how much time is left on the clock? Now, if you're a Chris Paul fan, just look away now. Steph Curry absolutely dismantles Paul's ankles on this dribble move right on the baseline. It's a play that has circled around the NBA community for years and won't be going away anytime soon. It was so bad that even CP3 had to admit that Curry got him pretty bad here on this play. We aren't done just yet, as we still have to talk about the time LeBron James just murdered Jusuf Nurkic underneath the rim. The poor guy just wanted to jump up and try to contest the dumped attempt. Unfortunately, the king wasn't having any of it, and threw him on a poster so bad that some think it's one of the worst in history. Finally, we come to the time that Emmanuel Quickley dropped Tyrese Maxey straight into the ground after a nasty crossover. As you could have probably expected, Quickley drilled the triple right after the crossover and proceeded to point right at the ground next to Maxey to let the world know where he just put his defender without even trying. That will do it on this video regarding the top 20 most ruthless moments that have ever happened in the NBA. Be sure to ring that notification bell and smash that subscribe button if you enjoyed the video so that you'll never miss another one of ours. Thank you all so much for watching, and leave us a comment down below on which ruthless moment was the most memorable.